he will be monitoring the chat and will be guiding us along on the technical side. A few words about myself. I'm in charge of foundation and startup and the coordination of events related to the topic, with an experience of almost 20 years now. And also, I'm your contact at the regional support offices for the region East Frisia.
All right, thank you, Bettina. And this is my point here to turn the microphone, so to say, and the stage to the Professor International Business at the Hanse University of Applied Sciences in Groningen. Welcome, Diederich Bakker. It's all yours, Diederich.
Yeah, thank you, Ike. Thank you, Bettina, for this very friendly introduction. And really happy to be part of this event today. It's always an amazing experience to, to speak into the ether, so to speak, and and welcome so many people from all over the world. I will now just put on my presentation that I prepared for today, and then give it a go. Just bear with me. And I assume you can now see the starting slide, and we tested this, so this is bulletproof for all of us. So once again, welcome to my presentation. It's a great pleasure for me to speak today on behalf of the consortium of the startup Ems-Dollart-Region project. We've been working on this now for about 15 months, and and about a year has led up to this, to the beginning of this project. And you're probably very accustomed to the term ecosystems, Ökosystem in German, from biology classes. But an ecosystem can also be transferred into the entrepreneurial world, where organisms are interacting to an optimum. And in an ecosystem in business, these organisms are not fish or plants or bacteria. These are companies. This is Wirtschaftsförderungsgesellschaften. This is the Chamber of Commerce. These are universities, people that teach and research like me. And a good ecosystem in a startup environment works to its best. Now, when you look at the map of the Ems-Dollart region that we're in, you can see on the to the west, you see the Netherlands, the north of the Netherlands, you see to the east, the Weser-Ems region, northwest Germany. And what actually I noticed is there's an amazing plethora of startup activity in all of these regional centers. Just look at Groningen, that's where I teach. In Groningen, we have approximately 2,000 startups equaling to about 10,000 jobs. When you just think of the potential of the labor potential and the economic growth that startups bring just to the city of Groningen, it's really remarkable. Now you go on the other side of the border, and I mean, this is why we're doing this today. Startups, entrepreneurship is kind of happening everywhere. It's happening in Emden, in Lingen, in Oldenburg, in Wilhelmshaven on the German side, and equally on the other side of the border. Now, what we also noticed in our research actually is, and you can probably refer to this on your own when you think about it, as a Dutch startup, for instance, if you are in Groningen or Emmen or Leuven, where do you look at first? When you think of collaboration, you look to Amsterdam, you look at Eindhoven. On the German side, Oldenburg, where will they look? They look at Hamburg, Berlin. These are the the first thoughts when you think of startup behavior, when you think of collaboration. And if you look at this map, for instance, if you look at Emmen or if you look at Leer and even Emden, the proximity to the Dutch, let's say, regional startup centers is so close. So why look at Hamburg? Why look at Berlin? And on the Dutch side, why not look at Oldenburg or Wilhelmshaven or who else on the German side that is so close and so vibrant instead of going to Amsterdam? Well, there is a border. As we all know, this is why we're talking about this today. And I'm not sure if my visual effects are working, but there is a border. And this border has many aspects. When we look at the eastern part of the Groningen province, all of a sudden, startup and entrepreneurial behavior goes a little bit down. Same on the German side. So our aim is, for this project, is to get rid of the border and actually connect the regional ecosystems on both sides of the border and get them closer together. So instead of going to Berlin from a German perspective, or Hamburg, and Amsterdam and Eindhoven from a Dutch side, how about considering Emden? How about considering Leer? How about considering, you know, your German friends just on the other side? And I don't even want to mention that border anymore, because we want to get rid of the border. And that's the purpose of the EDR, and also the purpose of this project in relationship to startups. So what we did, just introducing to you what we have been doing. We did a mapping of this cross-border ecosystem, startup ecosystem. And we mapped it according to 5 categories. And you can see on this small graph, there are approximately 400 participants, or if you go to biology, organisms in this ecosystem, 400. So it's remarkable. The only question now is, and this is our task, and this is what we're trying to achieve in this project, is to connect them regionally, cross-regionally, and also cross-border. And in research, in entrepreneurship research, we have a term called spillover effects. We want to create these spillover effects so that entrepreneurial behavior and startups spill over across the border and collaborate together. And we have a bunch of activities and a bunch of mechanisms in place. And you know, these European, and this is a European project sponsored by Interreg Germany, Netherlands, is structured into 6 what we call work packages. And I just introduced to you the mapping, the overview that we came in. So that was an inventory of the ecosystem. And we're looking at building educational programs, because entrepreneurship behavior is at the heart of higher education. At my university, the Hanse University of Applied Sciences in Groningen, just last year we had 400 startups from our own students, 400. That's more or less 1 startup every day on this in a calendar year. And good at entrepreneurship education with a cross-border focus will get rid of this, let's say, mental and physical border, we hope. We also are building, and we have already built, a digital platform as a tool of information, but also as a way to digitally connect the ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, the ecosystem is decentralized still. We have, you know, in startups, everybody who is a startup here knows that, you know, you need mentoring. If you're new, if you're young, if you're just starting out, you need people to tell you how to do it. And we have a network of mentors who specialize in cross-border aspects and internationalization aspects in starting up a business. And this is almost coming to the end of my presentation now. Both regions on both sides of the border have similar focal points: energy, health, IT. So you have accelerators, you have workspaces, for instance, in Groningen, that focus on these areas, and you have them also in Oldenburg. So we are trying to connect them and get them closer together and just create synergies. And lastly, we have 6 regional support offices. If you're an entrepreneur in Emden, and if you want to learn about or trying to find out how we can help you to cross the border, you can contact the support office in Emden, or in Lingen, or in Oldenburg, or in Groningen, Leeuwarden, and Emmen. This is, for instance, the office staff in, I should just say who is this project consisting of. And you can see it here on the map. We have 1 partner in every region, and today's host, Wirtschaftsförderung und Stadtmarketing Emden, is also a very important part of this project. Lastly, like I said, this is, for instance, the office in Groningen. You can see there's 4 people on the bottom that, you know, are happy to take to help startups get connected to our project. If you have questions to cross the border, you can contact them directly. In every region, this is my last slide, every region has an email address. You can contact us via our webpage, and you can find a lot of resources on our webpage, and you can contact us directly in any way you wish to do. And I'll go back to the normal screen and stop my presentation.
Diederich, very much liked that. Thank you so much for your presentation. That was really interesting to have a look into your perspective on the international cross-border entrepreneurship. Diederich, is there, are we open for a Q&A for you? Are you open for it?
Absolutely.
All right. So, dear participants and entrepreneurs and startup people, if you have any questions, the room is all open for you. Please open your mic and pose it to us, please. All right. If you have any questions arising, just open your mic and throw your question at us. But Diederich, you were talking about the possibilities of entrepreneurship on both sides of the border. But if I am an entrepreneur, if I'm willing to build up a startup, and I'm, let's say, situated in Leeuwarden, why should I go cross border? What would be the initiative for me?
Thanks. I obviously, you know, if you want to expand your business, if you want to look at foreign markets, Germany is the usual suspect from a Dutch perspective, and vice versa. You know, if you want to practice internationalization, you go just across the border, right? From a Dutch perspective, that goes without saying. Germany is a huge market; it's very close. But these are very clear and obvious reasons from a business perspective. I'd like to go even further, and this is, in my view, a hidden, not secret, but there's a strong correlation between crossing the border as an entrepreneur, internationalizing, and innovation. There's a lot of research on the fact that if you internationalize, if you cross a border with your business, you are more innovative, you have better ideas, you learn. Basically, you learn ways to do business in a different way. And, you know, I don't have to, I work in the Netherlands, but I have a German background. I see I see it on a daily basis that Dutch are just so much more, they think differently and much more creative, less structured. And we see that with our students all the time, but that makes a great combination. So a Dutch-German collaboration, for instance, leads to great, interesting results that you wouldn't have if you were just a Dutch or just a German perspective. So as you can see, business, innovation, creativity, I could talk forever to answer your question.
All right, well, that would be cool, but we don't have that time for that, Diederich. But one further question, if you allow me to. If just pretending I'm an entrepreneur and I would take advantage of your project especially, what would be my benefits of contacting you especially?
Well, you know, if you want to contact the project, you know, there's operational questions, different tax systems, different legal systems, how to open a company. So, you know, from either side, we have experts, and we can give advice on these very practical questions. If you're looking for talent, if you're looking for different talent that you cannot find in your own market, you could look across the border. So from a very practical point of view, you know, just when you look at starting a business, these are very simple ways to contact us and to get advice. There's one aspect, for instance, venture capital, money, you know, growing. If you want to, from a startup to a scale up, in your regional markets, you might be limited. And it can be very beneficial. We have experience with that if you look across the border, there might be other money pots that you haven't thought of. So it just opens your horizon in many aspects.
Okay, thank you. To the participants, are there any questions coming up? Okay, all right then. Diederich, so many thanks. We have one question coming up through the chat.
One question is Stephanie Jord.
Stephanie?
Jord.
Stephanie Jord.
Yes.
Okay, Stephanie, it's all to you. If you would.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from the Danish-German border, so another Interreg region, right? Greetings from our place. Well, we started to collaborate across the border with our news project 3 years ago, and I was wondering if you've been able to create startups that are coming from both sides, you know, like Lighthouse or something like German and Dutch people, because that's what we're looking into, and we don't really know how to really connect them and to engage their prosperity, and I don't know, to just really work together as a startup. So we are starting to implement a new format like a cross-border idea lab, so that teams from the different universities will work together in an idea challenge during a weekend. It's the first step. So I'm really looking into this topic at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. I'm well aware of your project in Flensburg, so that's really good. One of the big ambitions of the project, and starting a company can be quick, but also takes time. One of the big ambitions will be to help really create a Dutch-German cross-border startup from scratch. Now, we are not entrepreneurs; we're just facilitating, right? So that's our aim, and if we put enough seeding in the ground, if we put enough, if we create this environment where help can be found and where support can be found, and where you saw the work packages, really tie in to the market and help, hopefully also maybe inspire, having thought about and creating connections, then we are very positive that within the time frame of our project that this will happen. So to answer your question in short, we haven't done that yet. It hasn't happened yet.
All right. Any further questions? Okay then. Diederich, so much thanks to you. So many thanks. And well, we keep in touch anyways, you and me. And the participants are invited for more Q&A during the chat or via the chat. And by the way, after this event, Bettina, who you met earlier, will come back to you no later than Monday to ask you for your email, your particular email, just for a retransfer of the entire meeting recording. So it is recorded and it will be sent to you via retransfer later on. Nonetheless, we have 2 pitches open for participants who want to introduce their business, their startup after our speakers, so which will be in roughly 1 hour from now. So if you want to jump into that elevator pitch in about 60 minutes from now, you're invited to do so. You may want to take advantage of the chat to tell us upfront, and well, we can go from there. Just for you to mention, you already realized that I'm not alone anymore. Bettina is not gone, but she is replaced. No, not replaced, but Anke is next to me. Anke is part of the Chamber of Commerce here in Emden, and her title of the presentation will be Starting a Company in Germany from a Chamber of Commerce Perspective. Anke, wir werden das in Deutsch tun. Fühlst dich einfach ein bisschen wohler drin. Ich glaube, die Mehrheit unserer Zuhörer und Zuschauer wird das auch akzeptieren, denke ich mal. Nichtsdestotrotz, Anke's presentation will be handed over to you later on next week in English, I guess. Anke, would you be so kind? Würdest du dich einfach kurz vorstellen? Wer bist du?
Also mein Name ist Anke Hölscher, ich bin Referentin für Existenzgründung, Unternehmensnachfolge und Wirtschaftsförderung bei der Industrie- und Handelskammer in Emden. Das schon seit über einem Jahr jetzt. Wie das Wort schon sagt, ich berate Existenzgründer, Unternehmensnachfolger und allgemeine wirtschaftliche Themen.
Okay, so your presentation, you're happy to share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, Anke's presentation will be held in German since she's more comfortable to do so. Nonetheless, if you want to get into contact with Anke later on, you are invited to do so in Dutch, English, Russian, Chinese, and whichever language. I guess we will translate that to you.
Yes.
Okay, Anke, it's all yours. Bitte schön.
Genau. Ja. Vielen ist die Industrie- und Handelskammer bekannt als Institution, die die Ausbildung abnimmt. Neben diesem bieten wir allerdings auch viele Beratungen an, unter anderem auch zu Innovationsthemen. Heißt, sollten Sie ein Produkt hergestellt haben, was ein CE-Kennzeichen benötigt, sollten Sie ein Patent benötigen, ist es kein Problem, können Sie uns gerne anrufen. Wir bieten Sprechtage zu diesem Thema an, auch mit einem Patentanwalt. Ähnliches ist bei Sachverständigen, wenn Sie Probleme damit haben, dass Produkte nicht abgenommen werden konnten, beziehungsweise es Materialfehler gibt, macht es auch nichts. Können Sie uns gerne verständigen und wir benennen einen Sachverständiger. Ebenso ist es zum Thema Außenwirtschaft. Oftmals ist ja so, dass Unternehmen in der Welt aktiv sind und Ursprungszeugnisse benötigt werden. Diese stellen wir auch aus. Das heißt, Sie können uns gerne anrufen, eine E-Mail schreiben und auch zu uns in die HK kommen. Ebenso bieten wir Ländersprechtage an und Außenwirtschaftspreise, in denen Sie dann gerne Fragen zu den einzelnen Ländern stellen können. Auch zum Thema Recht bieten wir Unterstützung an. Sollten Sie also ein Unternehmen übernehmen möchten, gibt es Musterverträge, Merkblätter oder auch Infoveranstaltungen und Sprechtage. In Deutschland ist es bei einigen Branchen so, dass es Gewerbeerlaubnisse braucht. Das heißt, wenn man sich beispielsweise als Immobilienmakler, Finanzvermittler, Berater selbstständig machen möchte, muss man die Erlaubnis von uns bekommen. Dazu beraten wir auch, sollte es dazu Fragen geben. Mein Bereich ist die Staatshilfe und Wirtschaftsförderung, bei der wir Gründungsberatung, Ansiedlungsberatung bieten. Heißt, möchten Sie sich jetzt als beispielsweise Niederländer hier in Emden niederlassen, können wir gerne einen Termin vereinbaren, bei dem wir dann gucken, ob es ein Gebäude gibt, ein Grundstück, eine offene, also eine Halle, die gerade zu vermieten ist. Ebenso arbeiten wir mit der N-Bank, also der Sachsenbank, zusammen. Da gibt es oftmals Fördermöglichkeiten und Finanzierungsberatungen, die genutzt werden können, gerade speziell für Existenzgründer oder für Unternehmen, die expandieren möchten, sich vergrößern möchten. Wir bieten Unternehmensnachfolgeberatung an, wie schon gesagt. Dazu gibt es auch jährlich Veranstaltungen, die man sehr gerne besuchen kann und auch kostenfrei sind natürlich. Wir haben Projekte und Netzwerke mit der EDR. Und wir sind auch auf dem Promotiedach in Groningen jedes Jahr mit den Nordplänen vertreten. Kurz ein Leitfaden zum Selbstständigmachen in Deutschland. Also es ist erstmal notwendig, einen Sitz in Deutschland zu haben. Das reicht schon, wenn man eine Niederlassung hat. Und das Hauptunternehmen wäre beispielsweise Niederlanden. Für bestimmte Tätigkeiten ist es, wie schon gesagt, Voraussetzung, dass man eine Zulassung hat. Oftmals ist es beim Bau so, das heißt, wenn man sich als Fliesenleger, Elektriker oder Bauunternehmer selbstständig machen möchte, muss man in der Handwerksrolle eingetragen sein, beziehungsweise einen Angestellten haben, der diese Voraussetzungen hat. Als zweites sollte man sich Gedanken zu der Rechtsform machen, dazu komme ich dann gleich nochmal näher. Man muss sich bei der Berufsgenossenschaft melden in Deutschland. Es ist verpflichtend, dass man seine Arbeitnehmer darüber versichert, der Gründer muss dies nicht. Dann ist der nächste Schritt, bei der Krankenkasse sich zu melden, beziehungsweise zu entscheiden, ob man sich privat oder gesetzlich versichern möchte. Sollte man ein Einzelunternehmen gründen möchten, ist es ganz einfach, man geht zur Stadt oder zur Gemeinde am Sitz des Unternehmens und meldet dieses an. Das kostet in der Regel 35 €. Diese melden automatisch der IHK, der Handwerkskammer, die ähnlich der KVK Niederlanden ist, und dem Finanzamt, dass man sich selbstständig gemacht hat. Und man bekommt dann eine Steuernummer. Ein großer Unterschied zu den Gründungen in den Niederlanden ist, dass man in Deutschland ab einem Gewinn von 24.500 € eine Gewerbesteuer bezahlen muss. Heißt, sollten Sie einen Gewinn von 100.000 € haben, sind 75.500 € gewerbesteuerpflichtig, die mit 3,5% veranschlagt werden, plus ein Hebesatz, aber das können Sie am besten mit einem Steuerberater berechnen. Arbeitnehmer, die ständig in Deutschland tätig sind, unterliegen zudem dem deutschen Arbeitsrecht. Heißt, sollten Sie beispielsweise Ihre Arbeitnehmer hier in Deutschland arbeiten lassen, muss man da die Rechtsvorschriften beachten. Einmal im Vergleich die Rechtsform mit den Niederlanden. Das gängigste ist bei uns die GmbH, bei der 25.000 Euro Stammkapital benötigt werden. Das ist die BV in den Niederlanden, wo man 1 Euro hinterlegen muss. In Deutschland gibt es auch eine Mini-GmbH. Das ist aber so, dass man jedes Jahr den Gewinn hinterlegen muss, sodass man dann auf 25.000 Euro kommt. Die Eintragung ist da im Handelsregister notwendig und läuft dann nicht über die Gemeinde, sondern über einen Notar. Dann gibt es noch die Marktstadt, das ist die bürgerliche Gesellschaft, die auch sehr gerne in Deutschland genommen wird. Die offene Handelsgesellschaft heißt in den Landen Genootschap von einer Firma. Sehr gerne in Deutschland wird auch die Kommanditgesellschaft genommen, die ebenfalls eintragungspflichtig ist. Und die Ein-Mann-Sarg, die Einzelkaufmann, ist auch eine der sehr gängigen. Die einzelnen Unterschiede könnte man am besten mit einem Steuerberater besprechen, da es oftmals steuerliche Auswirkungen hat, was denn für einen am besten ist. Des Weiteren bieten wir zusammen mit der EDR einen deutsch-niederländischen Sprechtag an, bei dem individuelle Einzelgespräche auf 45 Minuten vereinbart werden können. Bei denen sind dann Experten der IHK, der Kammer vom Coop-Handel, dem Finanzamt Leer und dem Belastingdienst Groningen sowie das Büro von Hölscher anwesend sind. Beim Gespräch überprüft das gesamte Geschäftsmodell, berät dann auch zu steuerlichen Themen und auch zu Sozialversicherungsthemen, sowie werden die einzelnen Fördermittel der Länder aufgewiesen. Dies dient auch zum Netzwerkaufbau und ist natürlich wieder kostenfrei. Und findet in der Geschäftsstelle der Ems-Dollart-Region in Papenburg statt. Aktuell sind leider keine Termine verfügbar. Sobald es wieder Termine gibt, werden wir auf unseren jeweiligen Homepages darüber informieren. Ja, vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Sollten im Nachgang noch Fragen sein, können Sie sich gerne bei mir melden.
Dankeschön, Anke. Ja, wir haben zwischendurch die Kameras gewechselt. Sie sehen mich. You are seeing me on my personal camera right now. Anke, vielen Dank für deinen Vortrag. Und das hat uns sehr viel Einblick gegeben. That was an in-deep view onto what's necessary to fund or set up a company in Germany. That was a very in-deep sight to your business in the Chamber of Commerce. All right, Anke, you were talking about having the ability to come to your Chamber of Commerce to get inside information. Is there, talking about Corona, I know, we wanted to skip that point, but hey, let's talk about that subject too, since we're in that time a year now. Are there any like hours, office hours that I can have, that I can take part of, and due to Corona measurements, or meeting the Corona measurements?
Ja, natürlich. Also Sie können sich gerne bei mir per E-Mail melden, Telefon. Wir können auch gerne ein Online-Meeting vereinbaren. Das ist alles gar kein Problem. Sollte sich die Lage wieder entspannen, können Sie auch gerne zu uns ins Büro kommen. Wir sind auch täglich von 8 bis 17 Uhr erreichbar.
Okay. Danke, Anke. Thanks, Anke, very much. That was Anke Hölscher from the Chamber of Commerce in Emden. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop to the next subject here, and our next speaker is already in sight, as far as I know. That is Magnus. Magnus, you are talking about a subject that nobody likes to talk about. Is that maybe the case? I guess, okay, you're grinning. Okay, you're grinning, I know it's the fact. Still, we have to talk about it, even though it's Europe. And we all think Europe is a small place and Europe is all unique and everything is the same, or the same rules apply all over Europe. It is not the case, I guess, and I think, but you're the one who knows it better. You're Magnus Flatken, tax advisor with Egbert Flatken, and you're talking about the basic principles of German legal forms and VAT. No, don't turn off your microphones and don't go out of the meeting now. It's a very, very interesting topic. Magnus,
Please.
Thank you very much, Anke. So yeah, when Stefan asked me to prepare a presentation for this startup port meeting, I was yeah thinking about a topic for this presentation that avoids that everybody falls asleep within the next 5 minutes in this session. So I'm not sure if I hit the right spot, but I try. I'm sharing my screen right now. This is also a bit challenging for me, to be honest, but we will try. Is it working? Yes?
Yes, Magnus, you're on.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay then. So I would like to talk a little bit and just to give you a really, really rough and brief overview of the basic principles of German legal forms we have here. And I'd like to start with the really basic principles of our German VAT. We'll start with our legal forms in Germany. Anke talked a little bit of that. We have at the end of the day, you can divide our legal forms in let's say in 3 sections. We have the so-called one-man business, the Einzelunternehmen. I think this in Germany is the most common legal form for small business. And we have the business partnerships, Personengesellschaften, and we also have, of course, the incorporated companies. And we will have a look into these legal forms and talk about what is happening in these companies, what is needed to set up these companies, how are they taxed, do they have what kind of liabilities or unlimited liabilities do they have. I'll start with the one-man business. You can see it on the right side. Yeah, this is our one-man business. He's part of the most common legal forms in Germany, and it's the one-man business is very popular in Germany for small entities because the one-man business is not limited in liabilities. So the owner of the one-man business is in a direct way and unlimited liable for the work he does, for the services he provides. And nevertheless, it's very common with small entities, and it's also quite straightforward. No, not quite. For under German conditions, it's straightforward to set up. As straightforward as it can be in Germany. You still have, Anke mentioned it, you still have to go to the trade office, and you have to register your business there. You have to register at the fiscal authorities, and the social. You have to make thoughts about your social contributions and so on. So under German conditions, it's straightforward. You have low setup costs. You don't need any articles of partnership or cooperation or something like that. You can start right away. And in the following years, let's say you also have low administrative costs for a one-man business. It's very flexible to use. You can do almost anything you want with your one-man business, and very, very important thing, you don't have any disclosure requirements. Nevertheless, okay, if you are big enough and have enough profit. It's possible that you'll have to prepare financial statements consisting of a balance sheet and P&L, a profit and loss statement, and these financial statements are the basis for the taxation in Germany. It's let's say a profit tax, one level profit taxation. So the owner of this company has, based on the profit, has to pay the income tax and the trade. I call it municipal tax because it's raised from the municipality your company, your business is part of. Yeah. Okay, then we switch over to the business partnerships, and we have to separate the business partnerships into the partnerships with unlimited liability. For example, here the GBR, die Gesellschaft Bürgerlichen Rechts. It's a partnership under the German Civil Code. It's also very popular with small-sized entities and also quite straightforward to set up. So you have it here on the right side. You see the GBR, and the owners of this GBR in this case are A and B, the partners of these GBR. What's important to know is that it's a partnership, as I mentioned, with unlimited liability. So every individual partner of the partnership is liable for everything the other partner does. Yeah, so you can't limit the liability of one partner to a specific amount or something like that. So you have a solidary joint and unlimited liability within these business partnerships. Nevertheless, as I mentioned, it's pretty popular in Germany, especially the GBR. It has also low setup costs and low administrative costs in the following. It's also very, very flexible to use, and you won't have any disclosure requirements. Nevertheless, of course, you might be obliged to prepare financial statements, and of course, you are obliged to prepare tax declarations. In that case, we have, and that's different from the one-man business. We have a taxation, let's say, on two levels. Yeah, I'll make a border here, and on basis on level of the GBR, you'll have to prepare the financial statements, yes, of course, and the GBR is taxed with the trade or municipal tax, and the owners, the partners, are taxed with the income tax. Yeah. So you have what you have to bear in mind is, yeah, okay, you have to prepare two different kind of tax declarations for a partnership. It's a little bit more complicated than for the one-man business, but is under German conditions, it is still quite straightforward. On the other hand, we have the business partnerships with limited liability, and for example, this is the best known, I think, in Germany, the GmbH and Co. KG, GmbH und Co. KG. So geht's besser. If you look down this, if you look at these at this little picture, you see that it looks a bit like the GBR, and it has parts of the GBR. So you have your partnership, you have your partners over here, but what also comes is GmbH that has no shares in the partnership. In this case, also the shareholders A and B, but the fact is that the GmbH is taking the general partner part, the complementär, and A and B are only limited partners, the so-called Kommanditisten. Since you might be interested, of course, to build up a company with, or a partnership with a limited liability, it's quite, it's not that easy to set up. You definitely need articles of a partnership. You need a notary that transmits the setup of that transmits the setup of this company to the Chamber of Commerce, and you will have later on, you'll have disclosure requirements. You have to disclose your financial statements in the Federal German Gazette, and so on. The financial statements of these companies consists of, of course, the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement, and also the disclosures. So as you can see, it's definitely harder to handle a business partnership with limited liability than the other companies. Of course, that's the price you'll have to pay for the limited liability. And the next, we have the incorporated companies. For instance, the GmbH, of course. So the GmbH is the best known, I think, company with limited liability in Germany. It's very popular with mid and big-sized companies, and it has high setup and administrative costs. So you need a notary for the articles of incorporation. It's very restrictive if you want to, if A or B want to have money from their own GmbH, you'll always need a contract that says, okay, you have a reason to get the money from the GmbH, so you'll get the reason. With the other companies, you don't need a reason to take money from your company. You just do it, in simple words. And and the big profit of a incorporated company is the taxation rate. Under the other companies, the partnership or the one-man business in Germany, we have a maximum tax rate of 55%. 42%. Jesus, 42%. And the tax rate of the GmbH in Germany is let's say it's a flat rate tax of 30%. Yes, so that is a big profit for the GmbH. Okay then. So how does this fit in our cross-border issue? Let's say we have a GmbH and we have two shareholders, A and B, and let's say we have a border between the Netherlands and Germany, and A is resident in the Netherlands, and the rest is located in Germany. And let's also say that the GmbH is paying the salary to A and B, and the thing you want to clear is, okay, which state is allowed to tax the salary of A or B, or the profit of AB GmbH when A is significantly working for the GmbH. Or on the other hand, if we take a GBR, yeah, and we have partners A and B, and again we have a border, and let's also say we are the permanent establishment that the GBR has in the Netherlands. Who is allowed to tax the profit of the GBR? Who is allowed to tax the profit that A receives from the GBA? Who is allowed to tax the profit of the permanent establishment? And what happens if A is also working for the permanent establishment and so on? What I mean is that on the one hand, it's important for you, of course, to know, okay, with what kind of legal forms am I doing this? What liability issues, let's say, do I have, and what tax issues do I have if one partner is in the Netherlands, the other one is in Germany, and if we have a PE, a permanent establishment in the Netherlands, and so on. So that's nothing that we can describe completely now. What you just have to bear in mind is, if you have some of these cases, of course you should contact your tax advisor. VAT. I think I have to hurry up a bit. VAT, value added tax. Just to show you the principle, how it works in Germany, you'll have a provider. Sorry. You have a provider of a service, yeah, and you have, let's say, a commercial customer on the other hand, and the commercial customer pays a remuneration for the service he received, and that remuneration is plus in Germany 19% VAT. So the customer pays, if we, for instance, take a price of 100 and the customer pays 190 to the provider, and the provider pays that VAT, that 19%, to our fiscal authorities. So on the other hand, our customer, our commercial customer, has paid the 119, including the VAT, and in general, he is able to claim that VAT, that input VAT, from our fiscal authorities. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the VAT is not, doesn't have an effect on the profit or loss of the provider or the commercial customer. Yeah. And if we don't have a commercial customer, we have a private customer. So then in that case, the last part is missing. So the provider still gets 100 plus 19% VAT, and he still pays that VAT to our fiscal authorities. But the private customer is not able to claim that VAT from our fiscal authorities. So at the end of the day, and that's what VAT wants, only the private customers pays the VAT. Okay? And if we now put a border between the provider and the commercial customer, and again, we have a service or a delivery. It doesn't matter. Yeah, yes, it does matter, but not in this example. And again, you have a remuneration that the customer pays to the provider. It could be possible that the service is located not in the Netherlands, but in Germany. And in that case, the Germans don't want the Dutch provider to pay VAT in Germany. So that would be quite complicated for every European provider to to pay VAT in Germany. So in that case, the so-called reverse charge principle is born. You have a provider that provides the service, and the service is located in Germany, and we have a commercial customer. In that case, the commercial customer has to pay the VAT to our fiscal authorities, and in the second step, he claims that input VAT from our fiscal authorities, and yeah, that's what the reverse charge is trying to do. And what you should bear in mind in VAT or with acting with VAT is that if you make it right, the VAT never has an effect on your price or your profit or your loss. It can have an effect if you make it wrong, and if you have services or deliveries across the border, contact your tax advisor. Many thanks for listening, guys. I'll close my screen now again, if you don't mind, and come back to you.
Magnus, that worked out pretty well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this in-deep view into that tax subject. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I can see, yes, I'm online. Ladies and gentlemen, is there any question coming back to Magnus about VAT in Germany or cross-border? You may either raise your hand or just open your microphone and chat with us, however you want to do it. All right. Now, I was trying, I have to admit, Magnus, I was trying to follow. But when you talk about legal forms, right, to my, to my knowledge or to my liking, there would be one perfect legal form that would even be easy for me to fill out. Is there such thing?
Well, it's a typical answer of a German tax advisor. It depends. So you don't really have a perfect legal form for an entity. It always depends on what you want to do with your company, what's your goals, and what risks do you want to take. For an example, the GmbH in Germany, yeah, it has a nice tax rate of 30%, and if you have to invest, if you're earning a lot of money and you have to invest to reinvest a lot of this money you've earned, to reinvest a lot of your profit, it could make sense for you to choose the GmbH rather than at least let's say the one of the partnerships, because in the GmbH you have a tax rate of 30%, and in the partnerships of roughly, if business is going well, of 42%. So it could make sense for you to choose the GmbH. On the other hand, we heard the GmbH is very restrictive, and on the other hand, if you're more familiar with partnerships, you can also have a partnership with with a limited liability. If you're more familiar with the partnerships, so it could make sense to choose a partnership, even if you are taxed with 42%. So at the end of the day, no, sorry, no.
All right.
Perfect legal.
Okay. Now, when you, if you're following the chat, Diederich, who we heard earlier this afternoon, wrote a question: what are the typical issues Dutch firms have when setting up business in Germany from your perspective? What are the issues?
I think, I'm not sure if I got it completely right. I just I go to the chat. What are the typical issues you have when setting up a business in Germany? Yeah, okay. So for Dutch guys, it is often problem what the Germans call straightforward, yeah, and that's not really straightforward from a Dutch point of view. So they often have problems to build up a company here in Germany and to understand, oh my God, why have I to do all these things you're asking me for? And at the end of the day, I think this is a big problem to understand. If you did that, I think you are coping pretty well here.
Okay, but is there a process in place for paying or for claiming VAT?
Yeah, there's a process in place. You have so our fiscal authorities forces us to prepare once a month. A VAT statement. So if we are doing the bookkeeping for our customers, we do that once a month, and we do that in order to prepare the so-called VAT statements. So you take all the invoices you charged in the month, you take all the invoices you received in that month, and you add up all your VAT, and you decrease all your input VAT, and it sums up to something, and this amount is submitted electronically to our local fiscal authorities. If you don't do that, you receive fines that are not funny. So the fiscal authorities, yes, there's a process in place, and the fiscal authorities forces us to in general to prepare monthly VAT statements that are transferred to the authorities. Yeah.
Okay, Magnus, Heike Rotkegel raised her hand. Heike, if you wish to, please go ahead.
I think the basic difference is, and I have a lot of experience in Dutch-German cross-border activities. I think the basic thing is that in Germany, you don't discuss with the Finanzamt. And in the Netherlands, you're very used to get in contact, get in discussion to find the right solution for your company.
Really?
And then going on. Yeah,
okay.
It's really common. And they have kind of advisory things. And in Germany, you go to a Steuerberater, something like this. And if you have this in mind, then it's very important that you, as a Dutch company, that you choose a right Steuerberater and discuss all the things Magnus told us, because you can't do it on your own. So I think this is a very, very important thing, and a very, very, very first step. And then you can go on with all the details. It depends on which kind of business you are doing, what are your goals, everything what you said. But this is the first thing where you have to start.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Okay, yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. Heike, anything to add? That was a very interesting point there. Very interesting, Heike. Well, thank you so much, you guys. And thank you, Magnus, for your insights into German VAT dungeons. And I give it all to the next speakers, because, ladies and gentlemen, thanks, Magnus, first of all. Like you all know, we opened up the pitches for you. If you are willing and able to jump into the court and jump into the arena and pitch for yourself, you're hardly invited. Nonetheless, we have two companies who addressed us up front and posed a proposal to pitch. And the first of them, that is Donovan Rosenburg of Yes Electric Industries. Donovan, are you in? Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, I'm here.
Hello, Donovan. I can see you. I don't know why. Did you open up your camera?
No. Let's see. Can you see me now?
I can't. There's something.
Got it?
Donovan, there you are. There you are.
Yes.
Donovan. Thank you. If you do you have a presentation I realized earlier today, and are you ready to share your screen now?
Yes, I'm gonna try. It's actually gonna be my first time trying to do this, so please bear with me.
We get a hang of it.
And go.
That looks kind of cool already.
Thank you. Okay, so first things from the start off point, thank you very much for the opportunity. And then secondly, I have not registered a business yet because I'm still working on the project itself. Hello? Hello?
Hello, yeah, gentlemen, you're still on. We can see
yes.
the presentation and we can hear you, so everything is fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I'm about to introduce is basically a project with regards to combining different technologies. And the whole idea is I'm in aviation for most of my career. And I've been following electric aircraft for some time already. So during this time, I decided to, instead of focus on where people currently go very, it's all about hydrogen tanks. It's all about batteries getting more and better. I decided to focus on something that can potentially produce power on board instead of adding more weight or making too much of a design change. So with this, it's going to be a brief introduction as to what I've done. So here is currently the problem that we have throughout for conventional aircraft, the noise pollution, the air pollution, high cost of maintenance. And then below that, you have the battery powered electric aircraft. There's quite a few companies already in existence. And yeah, it's clear from all of them that the biggest issue they have comes with weight due to the battery packs. And then obviously with that comes a limited flight range. So the next option, which a lot of people went into, is the hybrid electric. But yeah, once you go combining two different, let's say, infrastructures, you just complicate systems a little bit more. So the solution, and at the moment I call it the twin pack, or because the names that I chose for it is a little bit complicated at the moment, and the result is what I'm aiming for. From the start, it's not perpetual motion because that's one of the biggest things that people say it's perpetual, do this, do that. No, that's not what I'm aiming for. I have two separate systems working as one. So the first part will be the multi-purpose pressure-induced electricity generator. And the focus or the emphasis here is on pressure being used for the biggest part of this production. And the secondary part, which is the power pod, is the scalable version, which is you can choose it either as a wind turbine or something you can put underneath water. And that basically scavenges from the airflow or the water flow and to support the main system, which is the multi-purpose. This is just what I've done is I took the operational principles of wind turbines and that of reaction turbines to make this project workable. So in theory, it works, but it's still the other bits that I have to do. So here's just a schematic of how it's put together for the multi-purpose. And I'm not sure if you can see my mouse moving. So the green square that I've got here is basically where everything is happening. The bottom part here would normally be a liquid. So you've got a submersible pump. And the whole process then is straightforward. A liquid is being sucked up, pressurized through the system down the hollow shaft. And then on this side, it operates as the reaction turbine would normally do. During this process, these generators, the three here, would then have a higher output of electricity being generated. Over here, you have your master controller, and you can see that I have outgoing and incoming. So the incoming is normally from the power pod. And I'll explain about the power pod just now. So to start this system, it will, as usual, start with a battery, which will then energize the pump, which will start the process. And from this process, once I've started this, and again, I'm using this in the electric aircraft. So the secondary part, the power pod section, will be either in part of my engine nacelle, or I can fit it anywhere else where I can scavenge airflow to make it work. Once the power pod is active, the only function from that power pod, once it's generating electricity, just like a ram air turbine does, is to take over the power supply that from the battery to the pressure producing component. That's the only duty it's got. So as long as there's airflow over the power pod generator, I will be able to generate that needed power or electricity for my pressure producing component. So the power pod, as you can see, is just, and it's very versatile. I can scale it. I can change the design because it's the easiest one to change continuously. In this case, it's just a simple schematic to show you how airflow will be harnessed. And again, you'll see the generators over here. In this case, I use axial flux generators. Since they are able to be smaller, they're lighter, and you can also have a much better output. LS Aviation, as I've said, is because I've been following electric aircraft a lot. So LS Aviation is a company currently in the US. And why I chose this is right here. If you look at the battery pack itself, it's 920 kilowatt. The chemistry, you can see the weight, which is 3.5 tons or 3 tons, 3.6 tons. And this weight takes up majority of the aircraft takeoff weight. Then I took a company which is currently in Belgium, Magnex. And from here, you can see that they spoke about the axial flux motors and axial flux generators. So coming to the next slide, I then took the information from the Alice and I took from Magnex, and I assumed certain specifications because not everybody is willing to give me detailed data. So I have to assume how to put it together at the moment. So as you can see, compared to the Alice, where you have a 3.6 ton, if I take 14 kilograms, 7 of them will give me 98 kilograms. And even if I take it at a lower voltage of what the battery compared to the battery pack, I'm able to build up what I need to support my system. So the advantages then is the fact that it's scalable, it's low to zero noise pollution. It depends on whether you use propellers, because if you use propellers on an aircraft, there is a little bit more noise. However, you also have the noise when it's fans pushing air through a ducted unit. Air pollution we eliminating. It's the fact that I can scale it for various types of electric modes of transport. And then, like I said, in general, its maintenance cost is going down. It can be mobile or stationary. And so disadvantages then obviously is, in theory, it works, but I need to prove that concept. And it's, as I said, yeah, it's startup. So there's no proven track record from me or anything that I've done that can actually get the necessary support at this moment in time. In the interim, like I said, a lot of the, just like everybody out there now, still uses the electricity generated by nuclear plants or coal power plants, or any type of the normal plants. I'm working full time, and unfortunately, it's been a year now that I'm in Germany. So a few things changed, and the little bit of funding that I had to reroute for my daughter. So at the moment, like I said, I'm working full time, and this is where my hiccups basically come. So I need to get a team of people or a person that can help me. I'm looking for people to help me with equipment and tools, materials, workspace, and then obviously the registration of the business, the marketing, and at the end of the day, salaries. People have to be paid. So that's my biggest challenge at the moment. That is me and my career highlights, my contact details, and then a lot of the pictures or the information that I've got here, I took from the various websites. So I'm not claiming that any of this is mine, except for putting the presentation together and the content of it as it is. Any questions?
All right, Donovan, very impressive. That were some smart ideas built in there. Really impressive. Thank you so much. So, like Donovan said, are there any questions? You're invited though to write them in the chat too, right? So we can, Donovan, I guess you're following the chat too, so you can answer the questions there, and they're visible to all of us. So thank you very much, Donovan, and best of luck from all of us here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I really admire that you were frankly enough to tell what you really need and what your desires are now, and what you're looking for. Thank you for that. Thank you for
appreciated.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, the next question goes out to Lucas from the Meulen. Lucas, are you there? I can see you.
Yes, I'm there. I'm hoping I don't echo too much. I'm in a room, but a very small room, so I don't hope it echoes a lot. You hear me?
That sounds very, very decent. Lucas, if you would just introduce yourself real briefly and tell us what your company is all about, because I don't have a clue, so give me one, please.
Yeah, sure, I will. I will keep it a lot shorter. The company is called Startup Program. In very short, it's an e-learning platform specifically for impact-driven entrepreneurs, so startups, some like the previous guy you just saw. We build it especially in Dutch, so I'm around an hour, 1 hour drive from the German border in the north. But we built a platform especially for the startups. We have built over, I believe, 20 courses from especially on validating what kind of problem you will find the right solution to, and of course some marketing training. What we see online is there are a lot of online platforms who have courses like Coursera, Skillshare or whatever, but most of them are focused on marketing and on more regular entrepreneurship. I have some background as a startup on my own. I help startups in the north. I even see familiar names here in the chat, so that's a good sign. So there's a startup community. The thing, we just built it 1 year ago. We especially have a lot of universities, Dutch universities, focused on startups, so more impact, scalable business models, and of course more innovation. And we have around 20 different universities now, and it's going great, especially thanks to Corona, I can say. And we are making a step onto the international market. The biggest problem for me is we have it's an online marketplace, which means there are different, I will show a picture of the screen in a moment. We have a lot of different trainers on board. So we have a brainstorming guy, we have a startup accelerator guy, we have a marketing guy, a pitch guy, you name it. And I need to have the same kind of skills from different kind of people in English on the platform as well. So my real question is, and there are a lot of people listening, having some interest in startups or are in an ecosystem. I'm really looking forward to meet new online course creators who have a connection with, or how do I say this in English? Well, who are well connected with startups and the startup mindset. So it can be an online marketeer, but he needs to have a little bit more than just making money. There needs to be an impact aspect to it as well. That's what I really need. If I can, I will share my screen. I hope this thing goes right. It's always yes. I have something. Whoop. Do I have it here? Where do I have it? Zoop. Here. So this is Startup Program. It's of course a Dutch website, so it's .nl. And if I go to the training, we now have around around 20. Some of them are big, some of them are a little bit smaller training. And they're focused on 3 things: mindset, leiderschap, leadership, it's mindset. Strategy is on innovation, so how to come up with ideas, how to make them more circular, of course, how to prototype, and others are on growth, and that's me. And more growth. I need to find English online course creators who do similar things, innovative courses, scalable growth courses, and on the leadership part. Who can help me? Please send me an email. It can be to info@startupprogram.nl, or you can find me, Lucas van der Meulen, on LinkedIn. I believe that's the button.
Okay, Lucas.
Questions?
Many thanks for that. Lucas, is there anybody, or the other way around, dear participants, is there anybody who likes to throw any questions at Lucas at this point in time? All right, great. You saw, participants, you saw the email of Lucas, so if anything rises on a later point in time, just give him a buzz or give him an email. I guess I'm seeing you. Are you?
Lucas?
Yes.
Maybe you can get in contact with the marketing clubs in Deutschland.
Nice. You have contacts with them?
Not directly, but you can get it via the IHK.
Via?
The German Chamber.
German Chamber.
I can help out with that too. I'm a member of the club.
I thought you were, Diederich.
Yeah.
Aha.
Just contact me and then we'll liaise you.
Awesome. Great. Awesome.
And then I checked another one for Donovan. Maybe you should have a look and have a talk with the Business Angels Network. Business Angels Netzwerk Deutschland.
Okay, thank you very much.
And this big website where you can have a look for startups and for everything what you need.
Okay, I will do so. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Lucas, would you do me a personal favor and write your email in the chat, please?
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Okay. Is there anybody with the participants who wants to pitch for a real quick one, 2 minutes pitch? Is there anybody who likes to? Okay. Well then, thank you so much, Lucas. Thank you, Donovan, to have jumped in. Actually, we're coming slowly but surely. We're coming to an end. What you don't know is that we have a lot of things going on in the background, behind our backdrop and behind the camera here, technical concerns and all of that, but it's been fun. Bettina, it's right, sitting right next to me. Bettina, how about it? Are you happy with this event?
Yes, well, I'm quite happy, quite pleased actually. We had 5 great and very interesting presentations. A big thank you to our presenters, very much. Also, we would appreciate if you have any input or suggestions, as we are already planning a follow-up event as part of this project this coming November during the Global Entrepreneurship Week. Yes, and thanks to the audience for staying with us.
Thank you, Bettina. And dear audience, dear participants, after this event, you're very, very heartily and warmly invited to get into touch with us. Give us a buzz or give us a ring, give us an email, whatever you like to do. And all these presentations that we saw will be made available via WeTransfer later on. Bettina will come back to you on a later point in time, the latest on Monday, I guess. and send you a corresponding mail. Well, thank you to all of us, and thank you to all of you guys, and bye-bye for now, for this point in time. I wish you best of luck for all of your entrepreneurship activities, and contacts and networking is very important at this point. And well, thanks to everybody, and see you later, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.